Did you know that Instagram now allow anyone, even you and me, to apply for a verified blue checkmark via the application itself? Also, University Challenge, classic British game show, is being infected by left-wing SJW ideology. I go by the name of Johnny Massacre, and you're witnessing the Johnny Massacre Show. Hello everyone, thank you for watching, especially if you've watched before. That means you're a returning subscriber. If you're new here, hey, just give me a chance before you smash that thumbs down. This is a show where I talk about random shit from my perspective in Japan, Tokyo. Let's start the fucking show. Instagram now are allowing people to apply for verification. You know, the blue check after the name of celebrities and a lot of people you hate. You can now apply for it via the application itself. I've already done it. You just go to settings and it's in there, and you just have to submit your ID. So that's some very pointless news. Who gives a fuck, really? It's kind of relevant for me because I'm pitching myself as a public figure in a way, but for most other people it's not relevant. I'm sure Instagram are now going to be raped with requests for instant verification. I do not envy the person whose job that is. Other news, Nintendo, they've got something called Nindies, which is Nintendo plus Indies, which is Nintendo's indie games. They've just announced 21 new games for the Switch, and I looked at it, and I have to be honest, I think they look just really boring. I want to support indie games because, unfortunately, consumption of media such as movies and games has exponentially grown alongside technology and the information age in general, to the point where it's so easily accessible and the marketing campaigns are so effective that those industries are generating more money than ever. And that means a lot of media these days is so corporate and so unadventurous because there's so much riding on it, when potentially you can make so much fucking money off these things. Then you really can't go on a tangent and take a big risk, because if you fail, that's it, your whole career is over. And so you want to support these indies, but man, they look like retro games, but retro games are cool because when they were made, they were brand new, so they put as much effort into them as they could, and they really exploited the technology of the time to look awesome. But when you're making a game and you're almost retrograding it to look like it used to, it's not being made for the same reasons, so it doesn't have that same feel, and it's being made and influenced by nostalgia, whereas the original games that now are retro that are cool weren't. So I'm not really feeling all this pixel art stuff, although potentially it could be good. There was one game of the 21 games coming out that actually looked kind of decent, and that game is Untitled. It's being dubbed as Untitled Goose Game right now, and it's hilarious. It's pretty damn funny. As far as I could see, in this game, you're a goose and you waddle around parks and farmland and even urban areas such as little market stalls and what appears to be houses and stuff. And you are just supposed to cause trouble. You're supposed to harass people and steal people's sandwiches and honk at people. And it looks really fucking ridiculous. And therefore, it looks very funny. So this Goose Game is right up my street. Check it out. Untitled Goose Game. Nindies. Other things going on. University challenge to pose gender neutral questions. So my country, England, is in the midst of pandering to the noisy vocal minority on the left, the miserable, unhappy people that are drunk on the power that they have, where they can easily shut anyone down by calling them a racist or a transphobic or a misogynist or a sexist or whatever. And they can use that power to have their very small voice heard. It's very addictive power that we're giving these losers in England now. We really need to stop pandering to the SJW left. And now this toxic, miserable attitude is infecting University Challenge. University Challenge is a British game show. It's well British, mate. It's well British. But now it's not going to be so British because these far left ideologues want to rewrite history and make everything 100% the same and everything equal, even though men and women are different, and our differences are what makes us interesting and compelling. And University Challenge is, as I said, the next thing to be infected by this ideology. And so my dad watches University Challenge, and my dad is so fucking smart. The questions on that are impossible. They ask ludicrous questions such as, in 1712 BC, in this age, Mr. Bloody fucking blah blah did this and that and the other, in which country, in which time zone. No one knows the answers to these fucking questions, but my dad knows every single answer. I don't know how. Well, I do, because he fucking reads loads of books. And so this is a really British program. My dad is British, right? My mum's German, but my dad's British, and he's like, you know, his mum was a famous actress, and she used to speak like this, and she would say to me, "Oh dear, that's rather wonderful." So he comes from this English manor kind of vibe, which is as British as you can get, the stereotype of the gentleman in the manor. And he sits there in his English house watching his British TV program, University Challenge. My dad went to Oxford, one of the best unis in the world. And so he sits there, intelligent British gentleman, watches his show, but no more, because now it's going to be SJW shit. They're going to change the theme to suit women. So they're basically saying how the questions are too geared towards men and there's too many men on the panel. Hey, I wonder why that is. Because men like the program. Some programs men want to watch. You think men want to fucking watch Sex and the fucking City? We don't give a shit about that because we are not women and we often don't relate to women. So we don't want to sit there watching women the whole time talking about fucking makeup and like giving hand jobs and stuff. Unless we're actually watching them give hand jobs, which actually they kind of did in a few episodes of Sex in the City that I was subjected to when I watched it when I was about 16 with my girlfriend and her mother. That was fucking awkward. And so University Challenge is liked by men, and so the questions are kind of geared towards men, and men go on the panels. What's fucking wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. Just let them get on with it and let them have their damn show. But no, now we're all going to get fucking tense and like our shoulders are going to be like this and we're going to try to make a difference in the world and like make everything balanced for no fucking reason other than to not upset all these wankers online who are drunk on this power that you are fucking giving them, the TV stations, rather than just saying fuck off. So that's being ruined currently, University Challenge. To be honest, I don't really care. I've left England for these reasons, because it's turning into a fucking shithole and because I don't really read that many books and I can't answer these questions on University Challenge, but I do like sitting on my dad's sofa watching it with him, and my views in no way represent my father's. What else is going on in my life? I have nearly finished a video for my next single, which is Shadow Dancer, which is the theme song to this show, and it's a double release, much like they used to release vinyl with two sides, an A side and a B side. This is like a virtual record. So the A side is Shadow Dancer and the B side is Most Impressive, which is like a Star Wars movie in a song. I was so pissed off with The Last Jedi, I thought I'm going to make my own Star Wars movie. But I don't really make movies, so I'm going to make a song which is going to be like a Star Wars movie. So the whole video is chopped and screwed, cut up pieces of Star Wars movies. I hope it gets through YouTube's filters and copyright protection, because there are already Star Wars based mashup movies and music videos online. Fingers fucking crossed, because it's awesome. Bit of Vader in there and all kinds of shit. So I've nearly finished making that video. I'm going to finish doing that today. And I love it. And I really like the song. I mastered it myself. I'm really proud of my mastering ability. And so I kind of mastered it in a pop kind of way. I wanted to go balls deep with the bass. The bass was just melt your face hard. But in the end, I decided to kind of rein the bass in and just keep the shape of the bass, the kind of distortion of it with my mastering gear, but kind of engineer it more for radio and in a little bit more of a pop way, so it could reach a bit more of a larger audience. Call me a sellout if you like, but some of the greatest music ever has been pop. So I've just given it a pop shape. I've given a hardcore underground song with iconic cultural themes a pop kind of shape and feel. So that's going to be coming soon. On the next Johnny Massacre show, I'm doing them more frequently, as you can see. I will be playing that video so you can check it out. So I've been working on that, beavering away on that. It's Wednesday, as I said, in Tokyo, Japan. Again, I'm very proud, always sell that I live out here. What a wonderful place. Please come and visit. Do say hello if you come out. Let's hang out for a bit. If you're a psychopath, I will be leaving very soon. On Saturday, you can see how ADD I am. On Saturday, now it's Wednesday, on Saturday in Japan, Tokyo, I have an event on top of the 109 building. 109 is one of the most famous iconic buildings in Japan. It is a shopping mall where loads of hot chicks, young hot chicks, go to buy clothes. And I'm playing on the roof there. I have a set, a DJ set. So come and check it out, people. I will be playing some drum and bass. The sound system is cold and big, so the bass will be tasty, and I will not be holding back. You will also get to hear some other electronic groovy shit in the tech house genre. I'm very excited about that. Well. So we're coming to the end of the show. I want to talk about something I'm loving right now, because I'm such a positive person. I want to share some of the love. So something I'm loving is cayenne pepper. And the reason I love this is because I've been watching this guy called Chef John, and his YouTube channel is Food Wishes, and he's come a long way. He's now on 2.5 million. He's got a great format. He has the same format, so it's muscle memory for the muscle that is your brain. You always expect him to say the same things, but he just changes slightly different parts, and there's something very reassuring about that linearity and repetitiveness. So he starts the show and he goes, he says something like, "Hello everyone, and this is Chef John at foodwishes.com. Today,
hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com.
We'll be making da-da-da-da-da." And then he starts, and he has this very bizarre intonation where everything sounds like a question.
Nashville hot chicken. That's right, when I first heard about this stuff, I thought it was some kind of internet hoax.
And he's always going up at the end of his comments like this.
I was supposed to believe that they take crispy southern fried chicken, and then before serving it, they drench it with cayenne-infused lard.
And his voice is very therapeutic.
Well, as it turns out, it's not made up, and completely legal, and one of the most amazing fried chicken dishes you will ever taste.
And his recipes are really good. And there's a running joke. He's got a very good sense of humor, Chef John. And there's a running joke where he's always using cayenne pepper or cayenne pepper all the time. For example, he'll say, now we had a sprinkle of cayenne. I bet you didn't know that was coming, did you? So there's a running joke. He puts cayenne pepper in everything. So it really rubbed off on me. So I bought some cayenne pepper. And I'm not one of these spice freaks who always has to eat spicy things. But I've developed this fetish for cayenne pepper. And I remember putting it in my mouth, and you know when you eat chili stuff and it gets stuck in your throat and you start choking, I realized this is made from fucking chilies. And that's literally what it's made from. It's powdered chilies. For some reason, I don't know if there's anything else in it. Let me know in the comments below what is in cayenne pepper. But I've become addicted to that shit. And I'll just put it on. I put it on cheese. I don't know why. My diet is a low carb diet, high fat diet. So I burn a lot of fat for energy, which gives me very good endurance for long distance running and endurance exercise. And so I eat a lot of things like cheese and heavy cream. And I'll do this thing where I'll get a mound of fucking cheese. And I call it Picasso cheese. This is my recipe because it looks like some weird, colourful mess of a picture. My Picasso cheese is basically like a mound of fucking cheese. And then I'll put, I'll get mustard and just fucking put it all over it. And I'll just cover that shit in cayenne pepper. Like, I will cover the cheese until you can't see any more cheese. And it's an intense eating experience. Just eating cheese can be a little bit boring if you just eat that on its own. But if you put cayenne on it, it turns it into a bit of a game. It's almost a challenge. It's like, fuck, I've got to get through this mad spice. And I've kind of got used to it. It's not too spicy. It's not knock your head off Indian spice, but it's spicy nonetheless. And I've got this obsession with cayenne. And then I started just tasting it normally. The thing is, that almost killed it for me, because when you taste it without something else, it almost tastes mushroomy. It has this mushroomy taste. But yeah, mixing cayenne with cheese and mustard, Picasso cheese, that's my shit. So right now, I've run out of cayenne, and it's kind of hard to get hold of. You have to get it off the devil that is Amazon. So I'm waiting for my Amazon cayenne pepper. Can't wait for that shit. Loving the cayenne pepper at the moment. That is something that I am loving. Another thing that I'm loving is being alive. The chance of existing is so fucking small, unless you're religious and believe in God, which I don't. Think about this, right? How many fucking sperms are there in a testicle, in a nut? How many sperms in a testicle? There are, oh my fucking, okay, listen to this, right? A fertile man, oh my God, okay, 80 to 300 million sperm per ejaculation. 300 million. Okay, if I gave you a 1 in 300 million chance of anything, do you think it would happen? Do you think you'd be chosen? Because I tell you, it's not gonna fucking happen. It will never fucking happen. So 1 in 300 million is like impossible. But those aren't even the odds of you fucking being born. Okay, so think about this, right? Your dad's dad, your dad's dad's dad, your dad's 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 dad, and just go all the way back until we're going before Christ, until we're going to Neanderthal times. How many generations of fathers have there been for you? So how many 300 million chances have there been for you to be alive? And that's only a 300 million chance, 1 in 300 mil, if you're in that fucking ejaculation in the first fucking place, right? So imagine your parents would have had sex like a minute later, or even 10 seconds later. It probably would have destroyed your chance to have even been born. And imagine in your parents' life all the things they did. For example, I'm making the Johnny Massacre show. Imagine I made the Johnny Massacre show 10 seconds later. And then in the future, when I have a kid, he's probably not going to have been born, because all of the future events will have been affected differently because I started the show 10 seconds differently, okay? So think about this, right? The fucking odds we're on now, I don't even know, because I'm not good at maths. But mathematicians, let me know in the comments below. Someone can give me some odds on the chance of being born. So then let's go back. Before even humans existed. So we're going back to animals. So now our whole fate is coming from animals, because we evolved from animals, right? If you don't believe in God. And so, fucking hell, then all the birds that were flying around, if the bird flew around in a different way, then you're not going to be alive today. And then let's go back before the birds and dinosaurs, and let's go back to cells and plants, and let's go back to before that, the Big Bang, and then just like matter and stars. If something happened in the chaos that was swirling around back then, even slightly differently, you wouldn't be alive. So, oh my God, the chance of being alive is so fucking small. And if there is no God, And this really is our one life. And we have this fucking life. And we're in a sorry state. Other people, not me, a lot of other people are in a sorry state of affairs because you complain about your life and you blame other people for everything when you've been given the greatest fucking gift ever. And every day, it's in your control to do something positive and do something nice and be fucking happy. Jesus fucking Christ. So I like being alive. That is something that I'm loving right now. Being alive and the chance of existing is just mind-boggling. Other things I like is Trump being bulletproof, because the left make him out to be this serious demon when actually he hasn't really done anything that bad. He said a lot of very dumb shit, and he said a lot of very smart stuff and very clever jokes, but he hasn't really done anything that bad, right? But the left paint him out to be such a demon that when he survives all of these so-called scandals that are whipped up into way more of a frenzy than they should be, he's still standing and he's bulletproof. And I just like it because it pisses off politically correct people. Trump's the Nazi, right? We're going back to Nazi Germany and all this kind of stuff. But all I see is the left trying to rewrite history, tear down statues, silence speakers on YouTube, ban words and erase people from history. Even dicks like Alex Jones, who's just a fat frog like Baron Greenback in Danger Mouse, who just goes blah, blah, just shouts a load of bipolar shit. He's just insufferable. Speaking of which, Alex Jones was spotted with transgender pornography on his phone recently, despite the left wing say despite transphobic rants. I think he did say something against kids going to these group get-togethers where they were encouraged to come out, boys to come out as girls, which is basically encouraging them to ruin their lives. So I don't know if that counts as a transphobic rant, but anyways, it is kind of funny that he has trans porn on his phone. Appearing on his screen. But it's always, people on the left are the same. They always say, oh, it's all about women and blah, blah, blah. But often they are outed as pedophiles or abusive to women in Hollywood. That's happened in so many cases. It's ridiculous. Just look it up online. Okay, so we're coming to the end now. Let's have a look at the motherfucking mailbox. So Forum 154 said, hope you've been well. My biggest question for you is how long did it take you to become confident in speaking Japanese? Everybody tells me that being immersed in Everybody tells me that being immersed in the culture kind of forces you to pick it up, and I wanted your take on it. Being immersed in the culture, of course it's going to help you to pick it up, but it really doesn't force you to pick it up because you can coast by without learning any Japanese. Everyone here speaks a little bit of Japanese and you get a lot of leeway from the authorities. So if you have to hand in some official document to legally stay in the country regarding your visa, if you kind of fuck that up and if you're a respectable looking person and you're not some fucking weirdo, they're just like, oh, he's a foreigner, it's okay. So you get a lot of leeway because you're foreign, and a lot of signs are in English. There are English menus. It's a 24-hour city. There's convenience stores everywhere where you can buy anything you want. So you can really go out of your way to just get what you need to get by in Japan, and therefore you don't need Japanese. My Japanese sucks. 俺の日本語はクソ悪いだね。けど、悪いの言葉、いっぱい覚えてますね。なぜなら、悪いの言葉は楽しいでしょ。そして、覚えることができますね。なぜなら面白い、楽しい。So I'm basically saying my Japanese is kind of shit, but I have some bad Japanese. I know bad words, but it's easy to learn the bad words because they're fun. You know, like fuck or shit. People who don't speak English always remember those words, and it's kind of much the same in any language like Japanese. So a lot of my Japanese is kind of bad Japanese because it's the easiest to remember, and I don't study because I spend all of my time doing this kind of stuff. But I really like speaking Japanese. It's a beautiful language and it's so different. that when you communicate in Japanese, you think in a completely different way. You see Japanese people trying to speak in English, and it's like they're decoding it in their heads and then recoding it so you can understand. And that means creative writing, something I obviously cannot do in Japanese. I know it's completely different because they have less intonation, but then intonation is not really in written form. However, the alliteration and assonance in English, I don't think that's in Japanese. I was talking to people about this. The repetition of consonant sounds and vowel sounds and the way it blends together is not really in Japanese as much, because Japanese is quite steady and constant rhythmically. Kaki, kuke, ko are their phonetic, are some of the sounds from their phonetic alphabet. So da 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 da. It's paced quite evenly, but in English, depending on the words that you use, you can really change the piece of a sentence. Some words really fit together and roll off each other, which will create a different rhythm to words that don't roll easily off the tongue. And I find Japanese words roll off the tongue much more easily, and that is proved because there's a lot of English sounds that Japanese people cannot reproduce. They have extreme difficulty doing it because they're much more versatile. And so you can, and it's not just the phonetics of it and the way that the words sound when spoken. It's also the grammar, of course, and just the language in general, how it's put together. You simply cannot translate a lot of things in English to Japanese directly. And so you literally have to find another way to say it. And by the time you've done that, so much of the original meaning has been lost in the translation that you start to understand why culturally Japan is different to England, because the way that their language is structured and the way that they communicate forces them to almost think and invent in a different way to other languages. It's very interesting. And yeah, my Japanese does suck. And being immersed in the culture doesn't force you to pick it up, but being immersed in the culture and actually making an effort to learn Japanese will make you learn super fucking fast. Good. That about wraps it up. I had fun today. This was a much longer show. Please let me know what you thought of the show in the comments. It's really helpful for me, and I love hearing your comments because it just means that you're out there and you're listening, and that alone is enough. But I do get something from it. I do get a lot from it, and let's make this a wicked show together. I went by the name of Johnny Massacre, and you have been witnessing the Johnny Massacre Show.